Support for Lab Out Loud is provided by the National Science Teachers Association. Find out more at nsta.org. Welcome to the Lab Out Loud podcast, science for the classroom and beyond. Get out your pocket knife, because today is the MacGyver episode.
I criticize things and I also analyze things. I enjoy the challenge of trying to find something from the show that people could do at home on their own and kind of be their own MacGyver. You're telling a story. If we can get good science in there, then that's winning.
That's coming next on Lab Out Loud, but first I'm your co-host Dale Basler.
And I'm Brian Bartel.
That theme music you just heard is the theme to MacGyver, a favorite show of Brian and I, and we're playing it because our guest, Rhett Allain, is back on the show for his third time.
Yeah, if you don't know Rhett Allain, he's been on the show a couple times before. Rhett works as an associate professor of physics at Southeastern Louisiana University, and he also does a lot of blogging, and he actually has picked up another side job that he's going to talk to us about today.
Exactly. Now, the listeners don't realize this, but last couple of years we've started for a sound check. We ask our guests what they had for breakfast, and this is how Rhett starts off.
I either make my own breakfast or I eat leftover breakfast. So this morning there were some leftover pumpkin waffles from actually 2 days before. So you just throw those in the oven, heat them up really quick, and boom, you're out the door and you could do more physics. And that's the most important thing.
And of course, it's not his breakfast routine that's making him do more physics. He's actually taken on something new that actually Brian pointed out.
Not too long ago, I saw a tweet that came out, Rhett, and it came from you, of course, and it had a screenshot of your name in the credits of MacGyver.
Right.
And as a show that I loved growing up with.
So did I.
And I'm starting to watch the new one. And then I do have to admit, though, I'm kind of saving those. And we're going back with my family to the original ones. My kids are 10, so I feel like I need to start them back. Like, you know, we got to do episode 4, 5, and 6 before we go to episode 1, 2, and 3 in Star Wars. Like, yeah, we got to go back to the original MacGyver. So we got a lot of content.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there is.
Lot, yeah.
And that was Richard Dean Anderson before Stargate. So, I mean, yeah. But obviously we wanted to get you on the show.
First of all, did you watch MacGyver when you were a kid?
Okay, this is a good point. Because, you know, when, in the 80s, when I was a kid, I mean, you didn't always get to pick what you watch. Kids nowadays, they can pick what they want to watch. If it's on TV, you watch it, right? And if you miss it, then that's just too bad. It's gone.
And we didn't have multiple TVs growing up like we do now. Like there's times where my wife is watching something, I'm watching something, and the kids are watching something completely segregated from each other.
So are you saying you didn't watch it then when you were a kid?
Well, sometimes if I missed it, I missed it.
Yeah.
That's it, right?
Yeah,
so I watched some of it, but I didn't watch it all the time. Because if you miss it, you miss it.
So you watched it when you could, and now how did you get this job?
Well, you know, they contacted me, and they knew of my work with the Mythbusters, especially in the last season. I did a lot of work with the Mythbusters, and they said, "Hey, you know, we got a show, we got MacGyver," and I give them credit that they even say, "Hey, let's get someone to help us make sure that we have at least plausible science." And I'm very proud to work for people that even care.
Do they listen to you?
We talked. Oh yeah.
Okay.
And we talked originally, and I think one of the points I said was, you know, they were like, "What if we get something that doesn't quite work? Are you going to freak out and just, you know, quit or whatever?" And
well, yeah, you've had a history of criticizing some stuff that you see online, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. But I don't. Okay, I criticize things and I also analyze things, which aren't always the same. Okay, the Hulk jumps in a weird way. I'm just going to analyze that, not to say I don't love the Hulk, because I love the Hulk. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. You're not like a movie debunker.
I'm not saying it. Right. I'm not now, except for a couple shows that frame themselves as we're going to do science content, and then you once you do that, then you got to be right. You know, but if you're going to say we're just a show and we're telling a story, it's fine, right? It doesn't matter. I mean, you're telling a story. If we can get good science in there, then that's winning. But you don't. That's not their job. Their job is to tell a story.
Yeah.
So, and that's my feelings. You know, it doesn't have to be 100% correct.
So was there like auditions? Did they give you some like scripts and said, hey, how would you?
No.
Here's a chalkboard.
No.
They said, let's just go.
You're just
They
in.
said, do it. Yeah. I mean, I talked to the producers and stuff, and then they said, okay, we're going to send you a script, and then let's go.
Do you do all of the, chemistry, everything, basically?
Yeah, whatever.
Because he's doing a lot of mixing and stuff, too. So I just saw one where he made a lot of smoke.
Yeah, okay, so my rule for mixing chemicals and making bombs was generally if you take any 2 or 3 chemicals, it could plausibly be a bomb, but we don't want to teach people how to make bombs. So
sure.
It's just, okay, it could be a bomb.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do. And that's good for the story, and it's good for humans, too, because we're not training people to build bombs.
Mm-hmm. Now, the one that you blogged about most recently was MacGyver's body bag freefall might actually work.
Right.
This is episode 3. I think the name of it is it All? AWL?
That could be.
Yes. And the beginning scene, they have to flee a burning
Somalia.
building. They have to jump out of burning building. There are some body bags nearby.
Fire extinguishers.
And fire extinguishers, duct tape. Tell us what MacGyver does.
Okay, so he takes a body bag. He zips them up. He takes the fire extinguisher and sticks it in the zipper. And then he makes little arm holders. And so it kind of acts as a giant airbag that he carries with him. They jump out the window on their back with the airbags below them. Before they hit the ground, they fire the fire extinguishers. It inflates the bags, and boom, instant headache.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would still hurt.
And they did get...
And they did wince, boy. Yeah.
Yep, they did wince. Yeah. Now, did you have to do some calculations with the timing on that as well?
No. It went in in that case, they said, okay, I don't get all the details first. They'll say, we want to jump out of a window with a body bag filled with a fire extinguisher. Is that plausible? And my answer is that is absolutely plausible. And then after the episode aired, then I did the calculations to see if, but because it doesn't matter if it actually would work or not. As long as it's plausible, then I'm happy.
Well, I like how your blog post ties in Professor Splash, who has some videos online of making these crazy jumps.
But I can tell you one thing that I think I really enjoy making, and it's when the episodes air, for some of the episodes, I will make short videos for CBS, and you can find them on CBS MacGyver site that says, okay, look, MacGyver made a hydrogen bomb with a battery and salt water, and here's how you could do something similar at home. So it's a short video. It shows you how you can make hydrogen from water very simply, and it's just uses household materials. And I really enjoy making those things. I enjoy the challenge of trying to find something from the show that people could do at home on their own and kind of be their own MacGyver, And because I think that's really the beauty of the show is that we could all do these kind of things, if you just try.
Sure.
How do you go about researching the content that you're like, all right, so let's see if this actually works?
Well, Google. That's first thing. If I know if it's something I already know about, if it's some type of physics, then I just go. But if it's something outside of my field, I just start Googling. And I felt bad at first, being their official Googler in some cases. But, you can't just Google. You have to Google expertly, right? It takes
that's the critical thinking
an expert
piece.
to even, right. You can say this is bogus, this is not. So, and then if I need to, talk to colleagues or whatever in my department, I may ask a chemistry question. I won't tell them what it's for, but I'll just ask them anyway. So,
now that's definitely a skill, though, that we need to teach students, and I'm sure you see that definitely at the college level too. How do we train students to think critically about what they see out there and not how to Google expertly like that?
No, I agree. That's a great thing, and because they don't. Right, they'll Google and they'll get the first hit and they'll say, "Oh, look, I got this and it says global warming's not real." So yes, there's websites out there that say that, but if you more careful about the way you search, you can find sites that have authority and that address the question. It's tough to teach, though. I'm not sure what you would actually say.
Yeah, because so much of it is just sheer experience, too.
Right.
Yeah, you know, I always think about lessons that you, or if, let's say you watch a science video and you're like, oh, that is the best explanation. That is totally doing it. And then all of a sudden you realize it's totally working for you because you already know it. Yeah. And there's a difference between content that is, you know, sort of reinforcing something you already know and something that's introducing it. That's a challenge. Because I've done that as a teacher. I'd be like, oh, this is the perfect setup, but it doesn't work when
you're looking at with a little hindsight.
Yeah, you can't turn your physics brain off until you. Yeah, I always wish there was a switch that could just make me a student. You know, and then you could
looking at it through student eyes.
If you want to do that, try explaining something in you know, history or something that you're not familiar with, and then there you go. I'm trying to pick up a topic. Or how about something in COBOL? Try to explain COBOL programming. Right? You probably don't know that.
Mm-mm.
Hopefully not.
Now you're giving him a task. This is dangerous as the weekend approaches. Watch for tweets from Dale talking about, oh, this is what I learned from investigating COBOL.
Challenge accepted.
So, Rhett, you obviously do a lot of research and you do a lot of writing in not maybe debunking, but also just kind of like investigating the probability of some of these things happening. How much of these scenarios enter into your classes or examinations in your own teaching?
I mean, I may put them in the exam, and I'll probably bring up at least once or twice in a semester in class. I'll say, okay, let's talk about, I don't know, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, the Red Bull Stratos jump, where that guy jumped out of the balloon at 120,000 feet, fell faster than the speed of sound.
Mm-hmm.
You guys don't know about that?
No.
You know.
Oh, no, I saw it.
3 years ago.
I did not.
Yeah.
Okay. Your Red Bull Stratos jumped. He jumped out of a balloon. He went faster than the speed of sound.
I will know about it.
Okay, you will. It's great.
I have Google. Let me mute the mic. I'm going off for a moment.
Or any, some other particular topic that I like. But what I typically do will include links to things that I find interesting on the course webpage or something like that, so they can look at it outside of class. Or maybe I'll put it on an exam or something. But I don't really bring a lot of that stuff into the class. If it's introductory physics, I mean, we're trying to figure out the momentum principle, work energy principle. It's really hard to fit in a whole bunch of cool stuff.
So is it a timing thing?
Yeah, I think maybe. Okay. And I don't know. And at some point, maybe you don't care about those things until you understand the basics. I'm not sure. I mean, I care. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure that they are as interested in it as I am.
But you're not getting students who are like, oh, another Angry Birds question.
And then maybe they do that. But
like, I studied Angry Birds so much ready for this exam, and there wasn't even a question on it.
I did have a student. So I was talking about something, I can't remember, something dumb. This dumb stuff. The dumb stuff I do. Maybe it's like lightsabers or something like that. And it was something from my blog. And then a couple weeks later, a student said, Dr. Allain, I know that you like this kind of stuff, and I found this thing online that you would love. And it was about how strong Spider-Man's web has to be in order to do something. And I said, yeah, I think that is great. I actually wrote that. He didn't look. That my name was right there.
Oh, my gosh.
I guess he did. So
that's the expert Googling we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is great.
Sources. So what else can you tell us about MacGyver and science? Is there any, not that you would give any spoilers, but...
Is Murdoch coming? Anybody remember Murdoch?
I can neither confirm nor deny that. Yeah.
Well, does he branch out from... Obviously, there's a lot of physics. There's a lot of chemistry. There's some dabbling in biology as well. Do we see more geology present?
No, it's mostly... He has a background in mostly physics and chemistry stuff, so he's a physical scientist mostly.
Mm-hmm. One thing I like about this show, that's been added, is the text overlays.
I like this too.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. It identifies the new things. Probably something that was much harder to do in the original series.
Right.
Yeah. What else can they do in this series that we couldn't do in the first series?
Well, probably a lot of computing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why they have
tough. Well, if you look at all of the hacking, that there's some websites that look at hacking in the movies and in TVs, and real computer hacking is nothing like what they show on the TV. So it's kind of hard because it's boring.
Yep.
It's hard to show, right?
Mr. Robot's, I guess, the one that gets the closest.
Yeah, which I haven't watched yet. It's on my list, but
very good.
So, but I think the computer thing is definitely one aspect that's very different from the 1980s with the original MacGyver.
Well, we're envious because you're basically working for a TV show that we grew up with and loved, a TV show that became essentially a verb.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, to MacGyver something, it's already there.
I mean,
that's huge.
I mean, how many times do you think someone says MacGyver in the hardware stores across the U.S.? And now you get to advise on that. I think that's really awesome. So we've been loving reading.
It's
your
right
stuff.
up there with the other verb of Google.
Yeah,
Google
exactly.
And now you're Googling and MacGyvering. I think we have a show title, folks.
Well, Rhett, thanks again for talking to us. And we've, again, been reading your stuff. And it's so cool to see you branching out into MacGyver.
Oh, great. I think you're having me on. And I look forward to appearance number 4.
For links and other information related to this episode, visit laboutloud.com. You can send us your questions and comments at laboutloud.com/contact.
If you enjoyed the show, make sure you've subscribed on iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, or your favorite podcasting platform. And if you really enjoyed it, consider leaving us a rating or a review. Your feedback helps others find our show.
Until next time, I'm Dale Basler.
And I'm Brian Bartel.